Mr. Trevor West. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Nice little Jefferson Ocean bourbon.
I heard it's for the best guys,
It's for the good visitors. Only for the special people. And
for the elite.
you are special. I knew you were special when I met you through your beautiful, hopefully soon to be fiance or wife, Tommy. This is kind of a two-part thing. This is an extension of local mentorship as well as a fireside chat. But you were one of the first candidates that came in through Dami to come into the mentorship program that Evan and I put together for 5 young guys that were looking to take incomes from 50 to 70 grand to 6 figures.
Yep.
So that was how long ago now?
It's a year and change, just shy. I think it was late January we met.
Yeah, so a little over a year. Since then, we'll run through this story,
Quick.
but since then you have left your job, which you were doing full-time trucking, moving heavy equipment, which most of us, myself included, are not familiar with, but that's not an easy job.
No, it's blue collar, man. It's hard work. You know, it's like physical labor and long hours. You know,
Long hours, I think, is the biggest thing. Blue collar is great. You know, a lot of blue collar makes, a lot of money, but
we still are, I guess, right?
yeah,
I still am.
I'm definitely blue collar. But it was taking a lot of time away from you, Dami, and your beautiful daughter, Riley,
Yeah.
which, you had told me that you wanted to spend more time with.
And I meant it. You know,
What did I say to you at that time?
I forget, man. I didn't know what to expect, truthfully. I remember it was probably like December or November. You know, Dami had just finished, babysitting for Colton, over the summer. She went back to work, and we became Instagram friends or Facebook friends. And like, hey, this local mentorship thing. I'm like, I'm in. I think I replied, not thinking I was qualified at all. That's it wasn't even in my wheelhouse or really a thought. And you're like, you're the guy for the job. You're hired. Like, you're the one I'm looking. You're the one I'm looking for. I think I said it. I think I said,
this guy can help me blow up this local mentorship program. He's so special he doesn't even realize it. And I meant that. And you've now become a really good friend of not only mine, but my family. My son sees you and he's like starstruck, as well as your beautiful girlfriend Dami. But you came from struggles, right? Everything that Evan and I wanted to do with the show was predicated on spotlighting a small business, and in my eyes was extracting wealth away from the elite. If you look at all the problems in the world today, it's Disney owns a fraction of media, and the politicians control wealth through multiple different money laundering schemes, in my opinion. And if we want to just sit there and talk shit on social media, that's not really going to do anything. We actually have to do something to hit back. And that's everybody who thinks like Evan and I and you, as well as everybody around us thinks, is we got to, put our money where our mouth is and go to work after it. So it was inspiring that young guy to say, I can go launch a business. I don't have to go work and trade my time for money for $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year. And when you walked into our lives, it was like, this guy can easily go to 6 figures and he doesn't even realize it. And most times, that's all we need is a little bit of guidance and a little bit of love saying, dude, you can do it. And since we met, you have, taken it to the moon.
I think that that plays a part. Like, I'll say I'm naive or ignorant in a sense I didn't even know what I was walking into, Come up to Red Bank, come sit and have a chat with me.
Was that our first chat in Red Bank?
That was our first chat.
Yeah, I was in the office. A little intimidating.
Scared shitless, if I'm being honest. How do I dress? I'm the truck driver. I'm I'm walking into this, office where I don't belong in my head.
I don't belong there either.
We don't belong there.
Yeah, most people in there, they're like, Ryan, look at what Ryan's wearing. Look at him.
So that's it. What do I wear? What do I do? I think, Dami's laughing. She knows I'm a prima donna. So it's like, I got to do my hair. I got to do this. I got to do that. We probably fought, before I left to go there because I'm like stressing out, But yeah, I didn't
think Dami off. She wasn't ready for it.
I didn't think I belonged in a sense. I'm like, this isn't my world. And quickly, you reassured me.
You never showed that. Just so you know, I never felt that from you at all. It was an instant, like, this guy's like a lifelong friend. He's likable, coachable, and you really were. I mean, because at times I do come straight at people. I don't have time or patience to.
Well, I think that, so it's like ignorance is bliss, right? You know what I mean? I'm there to just soak it in. The world is my oyster, and I'm going to sit, make the most of this opportunity. I had no idea it would come to here tonight. You know?
How many hours a week were you working at the time in trucking?
It was anywhere from 50 to 65 hours.
And you're lugging in.
Endless. I mean, we'd go 30-hour shifts, you know. Hon, I'm not coming home. I'm going for a night run.
And how old was Riley? Like a month, 2 months, 3 month old?
She was not born, and then, yeah, all the way up until she was a year and a half, you know. I'm not coming home. And she's like, oh, well, that kind of sucks. You know, Dami's like, damn, you know, what do you mean? When are you coming home? When the job's done, you know? And that's kind of my problem. I'm a hard worker in the sense, like, I'll just go. You know, I'll just go. You know, when do we stop? When the job's done. So.
And you were lugging, like, excavators into New York City. That sucks.
Doing this.
I could barely drive a regular car in New York City.
It was at night, you know, so there was police escorts and private escorts, and it was fun. I'm not going to lie. I'm a trucker at heart, you know. Mm-hmm. I do love it. I'd go do it for fun. I'll have a truck motorhome and go see the country, you know.
Trucking runs in your family. And
it's in my blood.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this is predicated on people being a little bit vulnerable, a little bit of telling their story, and you're smirking because you know where I'm going. But, you know, you had a pops who was a truck driver who was, you know, in a sense in and out of your life. These guys run long routes, and they're very busy. And
midnight starts, 4 o'clock end times, you know, that 15, 16-hour day. Quick.
Long hours. And a lot of these guys end up running into problems because they're trying to pull these types of shifts. And your dad had run into some issues with some, you know, addiction. Yeah. And we'll leave it at that. And you saw some pretty tough things. And what I saw in you is that you did not want that long day, that long shift away from your family. You wanted to make it some other way. And that was something that instantly made me like, I'm going to help this guy fucking win. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about the struggles you saw.
So I wanted more. I lived with struggle. It came in and out of my life. You know, that the trucking side of, you know, what you just brought up, what we had talked about, his battle with, you know, addiction to some extent. That was probably the last 7 years.
How old were you when that was going on?
We'll say 18, 19, you know, fresh out of college, or not out of college, fresh out of high school, just got a job. You know, I was doing like some BS, just nonsense. And he goes, you're not gonna do nothing. You know, you're not gonna just hop around. You know, why don't you get your license, you know, your CDL, why don't you come drive? So I do that. So I'm probably 18, 19, I'm trying to think. And things started to shift, you know, those long hours, it started to catch up to him. You know, it was something I had seen probably 2 other times prior in my life, you know, and then I was old enough and cognizant enough to
realize this wasn't good.
Catch on, and I knew,
my mom's not happy, this is tough.
I knew the direction it was going quick, you know. I kind of distanced myself, you know. I planted my flag, I drew the line in the sand, and I said, I'm going a different direction. Kind of distanced myself even from my family in a sense, you know, pulled back.
Sometimes you have to. I did the same. Sometimes you have to move away.
I started working, at that time I was working for a paving guy, and it was nonstop. It was even worse than what I just told you about in my recent job. And I was happy. I'm like, screw it. I want money. I'm going to invest in houses. I'm going to do something. I'm buying a house. I'm getting out of here. You know,
your mind was going. Ideas were going.
So I'm going somewhere. All I knew was just, I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to work. You know, it will happen. I'm going to save a G note, you know, quickly, you know, $12,000, $15,000, $20,000.
Savings is so powerful. It's like young people, like, put your money away. Like, screw the Paris trip right now for an Instagram photo. Like, screw the car you can't really afford.
None of
Sock
that.
your money away.
So if we're like diving deeper, quickly that spiraled like out of control. So I'm 19 years old. By, we'll call it 22, shit hit the fan. And
with your pops.
Yeah, so I'm paying, you know, just nonsense in and out of.
You're helping your family.
Just in and out. Coming and going is really the best way to put it. No stability in life whatsoever, none.
Well, your mom was a big.
Mom's stable.
Yeah.
Mom's stable. She was there, but
She's busy. She's trying to work, take care of her kids.
I got 3 other siblings. You know,
Yeah.
one sibling's at college, and then I have a.
Shout out to your mom. She's a great lady.
My mom's
She's tough.
best. Yeah.
She wanted me to beat your ass in the backyard that day at your daughter's
She
first
definitely
birthday.
cheered you on. Nobody else did.
I think my ankle hurt for like 3 weeks after I chucked you over my hip.
But so she, you know, I had to step up. We lost our train of thought here, but I had 2 younger siblings.
You had things going on, man. You had to
You
make
know,
it
there's
work.
no stability. Bills need to be paid, and truthfully, if I'm being honest, you know, it's a little selfish. You know, I'd see like these pink envelopes show up in the mailbox. You know, and then they're yellow or whatever, you know, white, yellow, green, you know, pink. Then all of a sudden I'm like, what the fuck is this? You know, like, Mom, what is this? You know, oh, it's the electric bill. You know, we can't pay it. I'm like, or oh, it's the water bill. Like, I'm like, listen, selfishly, I want to come home and take a hot shower after I'm done working, you know, like, pay the bill. Here's, you know, $300. Like, you know, there was one instance our phones got shut off.
Cell phones or
Cell phones got shut off. For
God forbid in the 2000s.
so no, they were intentionally turned off. So fuck it, we're going to Sprint and
Turned off by your father.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to Sprint and we're gonna open up our own plan. You know, just I need the phone. Or we're out and about. We need to be able to communicate with at least each other. So that quickly struggle, man. I didn't want to struggle. You know, I am a family man, and I would just want more. Like,
It's that
I just want
decision.
more.
It's that decision you make that I'm gonna create something more. I read a book called The Secret back then, and
yeah,
if people haven't read it, you really should read it. It's kind of it's kind of a foo-foo book, you know, for lack of a better term.
my grandma gave it to me on audiobook. I listened to it in the car.
But it was good, and he used to talk about, like, you know, visualize you're gonna get a front parking spot. And I used to do it, and I'd be like, oh my God, this shit's real. And I was like, and I lost 100 pounds after that. And I went and got my investment license and my insurance license, and things kind of took off for me in my life. But I remember having a vision board that I visualized this colonial style house that was in a modest town. And I shit you not, it looks like my house that I own today. So I think your mind is so powerful. So when you make that decision, although it's very tough right now, when you make that decision that I'm going to go be successful, it's powerful. But I want to talk more about your character real quick.
Yeah.
So fast forward, tough times with your pops, helping your moms out, which is, just a testament to who you are.
It's not even a thought, though.
I know
You
it's
what
not
I
a thought
mean?
for you.
Like,
And you're the guy I
just
want in
what
my
you do.
corner that if I get into a massive bar fight and I've done something wrong, I'm calling you to bail me out. Number one,
I'll make sure my phone's not
look
on
at
that,
those big paws.
that sleep mode. We're not going to put the phone on sleep mode, so I
did
answer.
accidentally call you at 2 a.m. and you didn't answer. You
That was
also,
a test run.
years later, as you started to become a little bit successful in trucking because you were working so hard, your father had, battled some of his demons, if you want to call it that, and was getting his life back together. And your dad needed some money to buy a truck to get back to trucking.
So
And
full story. I'll give you the whole
Yeah,
story.
give me
I'll
the
give it
story
to you.
on that.
You can
Yeah.
narrate it, but I'll tell it. The implosion, I'll call it. So rock bottom. His truck. He was an owner operator, so he had his own truck. They go to he had a loan out with the guy, but like a private loan through a loan shark.
Yeah, hard money.
Hard money. Lease purchase because he didn't have great credit. Anyway, he goes, rock bottom for him. The dude repos the truck. I said, hey, John, what do you need? I know there's like 30 grand left on the truck. I'll stroke you a check. You keep the truck. I know the truck's worth like 90. Like, just keep it. You keep it. When things straighten out, you drop it back off. Like, I just want what's best for my dad. He's saying he just wants what's best for my dad. That's not what happened. He sold it. He sold it for 90 G's and, whatever. I mean, rightfully so. I lived with a little bit of, anger, or animosity towards that guy, but you can't knock him,
But
circumstances were crazy.
But to go and try to help your dad and try to save him after, like, listen.
It's like June. We'll call it June. I forget what year. By September, I stroked the check for 25 grand, and we bought him another truck.
Dude, but that's like, you know how powerful that is? Like, that guy, there's people in my life that I don't get too crazy into that have come in and out of my life, and I'm like, you know, fuck these people. I cut them off and see you later because I'm chasing this goal. I always say it, I'm on this train, right? AJ calls me the big engine. I'm on this train, and I'm heading towards my station. Either you're on the motherfucker or you're off of it, and I'm going there. And I'm going to take good people with me, but I'm going there. And if you do me wrong, you're out. It's just kind of how I'm built. Yeah. And I try to forgive people who didn't do something that bad, but to come back to this guy who created all this, you know, hardship in your life, because it was your dad, and stroke him that type of check, it just speaks to your character. And we can move on from the topic, but all the people out there who are paying attention to their show, who have tough times, who've been around addicts, who have had the toughest of tough lives, like moms of Monmouth, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Kate, I mean, she was a single mom. She was not going to become the stat that said, I'm not going to succeed. So if you put your foot down and say, I'm going to succeed no matter what circumstance you're in, you're, again, a testament to that. So
I appreciate it.
Kudos to you.
You know, telling my story, telling that, I don't live by my story.
I pulled that out of you over the last year and a half.
That's hard.
Yeah.
It is. And I don't bury it because I'm tougher. I don't bury, you know, for me, it's, you can't live in that woe is me state.
You're strong enough to be weak and vulnerable.
I mean, yes, but I'm saying I want more, no problem. Like, hey, here's the check, and I just kept going. Like, to me, it was work. The opportunity will come. I can help, and just go get more, you know, and go get more is where my brain works, you know. So it's like, I'll never have to question, like, where my dollar's going to come from again. Like,
yeah, you don't even worry about it. You get fixated. It's a little bit of fear of failure in you. I talked about that with Chinsey. I did a story about it myself the other day. But just stay focused on what pulls you, because you really are talented, likable, great dad. You'll be a great husband. And thank you for sharing that. I know it's not easy to do, but I want people to get stuff from this show. And that's powerful. The day you told me at my bar, you had me choked up. And I'm not easy to choke up. I'm kind of like, you know, this cold bear. I'm like cold as ice. And I was like, wow.
You make me feel weird. I remember that moment, and it's like, damn, you lived something. And it's like, no, I didn't. Like, I didn't. No, but I didn't. Like, I didn't. Like, it's no big deal. I'm going to scoop everybody up, and we're going to keep going.
I get that mentality.
So it's weird for me to pull back and be able to say, okay, cool, I did live something. So prepping to come on here a little bit and just having a few premonitions on what you're going to challenge me on.
You knew I was going to go there.
I thought about it. I knew you were going there, but it's funny. It's like, damn, maybe I did live something, you know, but I don't want that. I feel like everybody's going to tell. I don't even want to tell my story.
You don't need people to feel bad for you. I get it. But you're inspiring somebody else who's going through that, who maybe doesn't have what you and I have. You can give me harsh criticism. Ryan, you're an asshole. Yeah. Ryan, you did it wrong. Ryan, you don't write well. Whatever you want to say about me, I take that and I'm like, okay, okay, watch me. You know, I'm going to go. Not everybody has that personality. It beats people down. So you did go
punched in the face.
You get punched in the face and keep moving. And, you know, again, let's move forward with the story. But kudos to you and your mom and your family for everything you've been through. So fast forward, we leave trucking. You were doing real estate already part-time.
Yeah.
And you were having a little bit of success. Typically,
a few wins.
Yeah, typically in real estate, if you are somebody who's a good person and likable, they go through, in my business, what they call your 100 list.
Okay.
And it's kind of like these 100 people in your life that are a part of your natural market. And most likely it's you know, the least resistance to sell to that market. Yeah. I think in real estate, they probably help you identify those people as well.
Like, your sphere of influence, family, friends.
Yeah.
You know, so people of that nature.
You started to have those wins, and you were helping some close friends and family get sales, but you were in and out of the truck, right?
Yeah.
I know the smoke's hitting you.
It's, yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough, my first client was me.
Yeah.
You know.
What year did you buy that house? Was Tommy pregnant with Riley?
Yeah, I got my license in February. I got my real estate license February of 19. We found out we were pregnant like May, we'll call it, of 19, and we bought our house in July.
Yeah. How old were you?
24, like freshly 24. I'm born in July.
And how old was Tommy?
24.
That's impressive.
It's 3 years ago.
That's 24 years old. And Dami has her own story. As once we get her to be a business owner and leave teaching, we'll have her tell hers as well. You guys have, you know, similar stories. You're both tough, and I think when you go through adversity in life, it allows you to, you go get the things that you want like you're doing. So you're in the truck, you're doing real estate, you meet Ryan Robbins, and I'm like, dude.
So yeah, we met.
Let's go.
We met in
Hold
21,
on.
yeah.
I'm like, dude, let's go. You're being, I don't think I'm allowed to say this word on camera, but you're being a P. You're being a P, dude.
Yeah.
All right? I love the ladies. I respect everybody. You're being a P. You got to get it done. Like, what are you doing? You're talented. You're smart. You're likable. Why are we sitting here in the truck all day? And I could tell with you, you're like, yeah, I'm half listening to me. And that went on for about 6 months. Tell me what was going on in your head as I was telling you can succeed. Go jump full-time into real estate. Be a business owner. Open West Properties. What was going through your mind for that 6 months that you didn't do it?
It was disbelief. I didn't think I could. I'm like, I got to pay my bills. Truthfully, disbelief, but really I'm a squirrel. I'm like a hoarder. And I had a little nest egg.
You're cheap.
I'm cheap. Yeah, we'll call it that. Not anymore, but you taught me we'll just spend it, and to this day you're like, how you doing? I'm like, I don't know, I'm spending it, we'll make it back,
You're saving it at the same time.
It's coming, it's all good, now it is, but a couple months.
You're spending it on you though, and investing in you to grow your business.
But yeah,
what was the final straw? I remember you had definitely run into some frustrations, but what was the final straw that made you finally say, I'm going to go take the leap of faith and I'm going to go full-time into real estate and create my own little LLC?
So I'm stupid enough to probably keep working like that if I had to. So there's like two sides to that final straw. It was you telling me, hey, you can do it. You have X amount of dollars that can, pay your bills for the next, let's say, 15 months. If you didn't get a check for 15 months, you could pay every bill. And then my girlfriend Dami was just fed up. Truthfully, never
you had
around.
No car. You're using the business.
No car.
Truck.
I had a work truck. I'm coming home. I'm showering. I'm running back out the door.
Baby on the way.
The baby was here. So now she's like a year and change. And Dami's like, fuck this. Like, when does it end? And I had been taking. That was kind of what was going on leading up to meeting you, and then it only got worse. And I focused more on real estate. I focused more. You and I were having conversations, growing, becoming more busy. I lost a few clients, and I'm like, shit, if I was working, if I was doing this full time, I would have had them. But really, I reached a point where I was busy enough in real estate that I couldn't service everybody. So it's like, I could be the truck driver and the realtor. I could be the truck driver and dad. I could be the realtor and dad. I could be the realtor and the truck driver, but I couldn't do all three. And, ultimately, the lifestyle I wanted pulled me to real estate. So,
we had some tough conversations, and you quickly went into it. You still didn't have a car. You were being cheap again. And I'm like, dude, just go get a truck. And then you start calling me up. I'm going to get this 2500, and it's this diesel because I need a diesel truck. I'm like, that's a dumb financial decision.
No, it's literally what you said. You're an idiot.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Go buy a nice Ford F-150. Get whatever you can get because trucks started to become...
They were obsolete.
Yeah, they were hard to find at the time.
So that's May. I quit my job, end of May. So like we'll call it June 1, I left. I didn't get a car till like mid-September.
No, but what you did is you went and got a car, you quit your job, and you were waiting on some sales. And I saw you sweating. But what people don't realize is that sweat, when you're determined, drives you. Something shifts in your mind. And when you take that leap of faith or you jump off that cliff, you hear so many entrepreneurs and small business owners talk about something shifts in your head. You go from, if you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's the best book out there. Everybody's paying attention, read it.
I think it's the only one I read from cover to cover, in my adult life.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. You have to shift that thought process of trading your time for money. And then every time you go to leave, it's always like, here's another $1 more. And it keeps you in that, slavery is a bad word nowadays, but it keeps you as in the rat race. Keeps you as a sheep in society. And, I want to help so many more people realize, and that's not to say my dad who was a truck driver his whole life, or any of our friends' parents that worked extremely hard at regular jobs to give us better lives, didn't do amazing things, and they aren't amazing people. So I hope it doesn't come across that way.
Yeah, I mean, I lived a great life, truthfully. I did. I mean,
racing bikes,
it was all good.
Things.
I did it. Yeah, we did a ton of things. There's a ton of good stuff that we didn't talk about, but it would, like not a woe was me thing.
No, and I just want, I don't want to come across wrong, but
for either of us.
To be able to switch that thought process and jump into your own business, something happens to you. And I saw you sweating. I know Dami saw you sweating. You were freaking out. And then all of a sudden, I remember you walking in my backyard. Chest is out. I'm like, what's up, dude? It's like, I had like 4 closings kind of come together, built the savings account back to where I was when I started. I said, oh.
So,
And right at that point, we started a savings plan.
Yeah.
I took
like,
some money away from you.
Which we knew that day was coming, or whatever. That was the goal, is to better myself.
As a business owner, you got to force structure and save money because you never know when things are going to be up and down. But it was really fun for me to watch. And this is a different Fireside chat because we started with local mentorship, but it was fun on my end. And I'm stealing a little bit of your thunder, but it really was fun. I mean, Evan, right? Wasn't it fun to watch what he was doing? And then he didn't know how good you were.
I still don't, truthfully.
And you still aren't good. You're still not capped out. You have so much more potential.
No, of course. But like, I don't, you say it's fun to watch. I'm like, watch what? It was struggle. It was this. It was that. It was,
It was
It
awesome.
was me just doing it. I'm just doing it. What do you, same thing. Oh, you worked hard. What do you mean I worked hard?
Selfishly,
I just did what I need to do.
We were making a big announcement Friday. It may be about my ebook. It may be about my coaching. This is going to release Wednesday, but Friday we're releasing the coaching, and like, you were totally a beta test for me to say, like, can I do this? Can I take this dude from 50 grand, 60 grand to, 6 figures? And
well on past.
So I wanted to talk about your income. And listen, everybody that watches the show, people are like, oh, I can't come on the show. This guy's doing, he's $1 million a year in income, or he's doing $25 million of revenues. That is awesome, and I love those guys because I can get super technical with them about operations and different things that obviously a small one-man band is not doing. But you're doing awesome things. Last year, with real estate, after you jumped in full time, what was your ending income?
I think I got a 1099 for 90 grand.
Plus, you had trucking income that year.
Plus, I had about 20 grand there.
Yeah, so
we broke the 6 figures.
Yeah, you broke 6 figures, dude.
Yeah.
And so this year, you're shooting to do approximately.
I mean, no BS. I'll probably match last year in the next 40 days.
And then you'll probably be at about, what, 200 grand?
I would like to shoot for 200.
So a year and a half after we met, and you took a little bit of guidance, a little bit of a nudge, you're going to more than double your income. And I know for a fact, seeing your Instagram, cutting the lawn during the day with your daughter, hanging out with Dami. Dami's got more planned days. Everybody's happier.
We're living a good life.
You're going to Key West for, I think, Dami's birthday or yours?
Yeah, for Memorial Day weekend. So I just went to like a work trip, a conference. It's kind of lame if I'm being honest. And I came home. I said, we need one. I'm going to bunker down. That was February. I said, we'll give it. I got 6-8 weeks, like jamming. And
let's be honest, Dami was mad. He went away without her. She wanted her.
I had to sweeten her up a little bit. I said, hey, come on.
It happens to all of us. Don't worry. But for those people out there that are paying attention, here's a nugget. This dude was making $70,000 a year, working 60, 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And now he'll get close to, call it 200, if not better, in income a year and a half later selling real estate. And he's not a guy traditionally selling real estate. And I don't want to spend much time on real estate because we've had real estate guys here.
No.
You're a guy that goes out there and finds it. And this is something that people need to pay attention to in business, is how much do you really want it? What are you willing to do? So we were on the phone. I think it was...
I'll tell you, it was October.
It was
October.
It was
November.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5 months back, whatever it was. And you were driving past somebody who had a house in your neighborhood that was the owner. They didn't live there. Their mother had lived there. She had moved out. I don't care about the details.
Yeah.
But you said, I'm going to go talk to this guy and tell him that I'll offer to cut his lawn because he was from North Jersey as long as he called you first.
Yeah.
So you can get a flip opportunity for one of your clients or investors.
Really, for me, truthfully. When I
Explain that. What do you mean for you?
So, I'm 20. It's funny. We jumped around tonight, but I'm 27 years old. I told you shit hit the fan around 21, 22 years old. And I'm like, I want real estate. I was working for that paving company. I had a really good mentor. The owner of that company was awesome.
What's his name? Give him a shout out.
Carmen Reno. He's phenomenal.
Carmen,
truthfully.
give us a call. We'll talk to you.
Yeah, he reminds me of you. You know, so he was like, it's all stepping stones. You know, but I'm like, dude, I want to own property. I want to do this. I want to do that. He saw my work ethic. He goes, we'll do it. Just keep saving, keep saving. I moved on from there. You know, went on. You know, just finding my path.
You reconnected with him again recently.
Recently, you know, he called me. You know, they're ready to buy a house. You know.
Did he give you a little? He gave me a little
nudge. He said, you're not aggressive enough. I said, no, you just don't want to pay. You're cheap. You know. But
so hold on, time out. But that's the shit, right? Sometimes I get perceived as a bad guy, but that's the shit of people who want you to win. So that guy John, who's Matt's partner, who have all those Jersey mics.
Yeah.
Those guys. Matt was on the podcast, nice enough to come spend his time.
Yeah.
Those guys are ultra successful. He was a caddy, not a caddy. He was a golf pro at Manasquan Country Club. Called him up, and he said, "How many extra hours you got to work after your full-time job?"
Yeah.
It's those comments like
Yeah.
Carmen gave to you that was like, "Hey."
He's like, you could do it. He lived a similar life, you know what I mean? So there was a relatability piece, but I'm like, I want property. Dami comes into my life. Said, I want to own real estate. I want to flip. I want to do something. I want passive income. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
And Dami's like, okay, Trevor, pay the bills.
No, truthfully, she goes, I was laid off from the paving company. She goes, why don't you go get your real estate license? Like, shut up and start doing something. 4 days later, I'm signed up for, real estate school. I wanted to use that as really a stepping stone, as like a side job.
Did you get your haircut today?
Yesterday.
Looks good.
Looks sharp, right?
Yeah. My ADD's kicking out. It looks nice.
Skin
it's a nice fade.
you know?
What's that guy's name we went to?
That's Jake. We're gonna skip. We don't even have to give the shout outs at the end.
Yeah.
Chicory Street.
Yeah, I'm jumping around. But I'm looking at you. It looks sharp.
He actually put me on the payroll. He said, I'm referring you to him. He put me on the payroll.
Yeah.
I get a free cut.
Yeah, I like it.
But
sorry to interrupt.
Anyway, it's long-winded. To cut it short, I wanted to own property. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I want to do it. I'll use this as a stepping stone, as a side piece to make some money, and I could buy a house. I'll work the full-time job, and I'll do this on the side to buy an investment property. Well, we ended up having a kid. We bought our own house. Things changed. They spiraled. But I never derailed from wanting those properties.
The end goal.
I'd hunt them out. We live in our neighborhood. I'm like, that house is a shithole. Like, nobody lived there. I'm like, the lights are never on. I'm like, the one day, I'm like, the dude's out there. I'm like, I ran up to him. He probably thought I was some crazy person. Like, and sure enough, it was 7 months later. He called me. This is like 6 weeks ago. He says, I told you I'd call you.
But you're never that crazy person. You totally come across as so genuine and real.
But
sometimes you're so real. I'm like, is this guy a fraud?
You ask me all the time. There's no agenda with me, dude.
Yeah. Is this guy got an agenda? He's too nice. Like,
no,
it's not real.
Truthfully, no agenda.
But the lesson I want to give, and the nugget that wants to be, hopefully they're receiving, is you're willing to go up to this guy, and now you've done it 2 or 3 times in your neighborhood with other properties.
I'll probably do 3 off-market deals that'll become flips that I'll get to be a part of.
Now, are you funding those deals? Did you bring in outside money? Tell us a little bit about the deals.
I found the deal. I mean, if you Googled it, it's probably wholesaling, if you wanted a definition of what I did. But I said, I have a vision. I want to own the properties. I want to flip them. I don't have the money.
How many years in real estate are you?
3 years.
How many people are struggling in real estate who drive their fancy cars and all the stuff they do that have told their investors they can't find flip properties right now?
All of them. Truthfully. All of them. So now I got this kid. He's a contractor. He's hungry. He's backed by money. I want these properties. I want these properties. Same thing. He puts out his Facebook post, hey, what realtors out there could find me properties? I'm like, hey, I think I could do the job, or I can do the job, is what I said. In the back of my mind, though, just like when I walked into your mentorship, for that, I'm a little like, I'm not really, that's not really I want it to be my wheelhouse, but that's not really me. But fuck it, let me try this.
Got to stop you. I need nuggets. That's called a limited belief. And I did that for a long time. I talked about it many times. I was removed from high school.
Yeah.
I wasn't dumb by any means, but it just wasn't for me. And a lot of times because of that, even coming into my business, David Rabe, who brought me in, I was like, Dave, I have no freaking high school diploma. What am I going to do, since then I've gone to finance school and done all the testing and all that stuff. But, you know, you cannot have a limiting belief. You gotta fully believe that I can be not Joe Biden, I could be Donald Trump, right?
Yeah.
Why not me?
Yep.
Why not me? It's the greatest country, although all the bullshit we have going on. It is still the greatest country in the world by a long shot, and you could do anything that you put your mind to, and I want you to stop that, because what you were able to do in your little neighborhood is going to continue to compound for you because of the people you put yourself around, the integrity that you have,
Yeah.
and your just grit to win for your family.
So I want it. You know, that kid who I found we're going to do these projects together. He's like, they don't exist. You know, he's like made a post. He's like, you know, shout out to my buddy for finding me something that doesn't exist. So I know what I want. I know what my vision is. I'm going to create it. You know, we're not going to go stalk Facebook looking for it or go on the MLS and wait for it to come and be like those people who are saying it doesn't exist. It's not this market. It's not this. It's not that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to make genuine connection, and I'm going to ask for business.
So I don't want to talk a lot about real estate
No.
in a sense of like, you know, you being a realtor and how you become successful as a realtor, because it's irrelevant.
Right.
You know, I think what is relevant is how Trevor becomes successful in his eyes of the things that he wants, that you've talked about for about 30 minutes now. What are some of the things that you have seen help you build relationships, get sales, and put you on the track to make your $200,000 this year? And don't generalize it to real estate. You know, talk about it as a business owner.
Just be real, right? So I sell, right? I am a salesman, but I'm not salesy, you know? I had an appointment with a stranger 2 weeks ago, and I'm all nervous, you know, do I wear the button down? Do I do this? Do I do that? We had coffee that morning. I had the button down in the truck, and truthfully, I was on my...
pointed it out.
You pointed it out. I'm on my way to the appointment, and I'm like, do I put it on? I said, Dami, what do I wear? Do I wear this? Am I 50 Shades of Blue with all this navy on? Can I do it? Can I not do it? And I went in a different outfit to coffee with you, and then I'm like, I'll change. Truthfully, I drove there, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm not changing. I'm being me. I'm going to show up as me. I'm presentable. It was a polo. It was my jeans. It's what you see tonight. And when you show up as a real person, I think you do this pretty well too, it catches people off guard. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, they're like, expecting a suit.
They're like, we're like, they're like, oh, like you're another sales guy. And then you're like, oh no, this dude's legit. Oh, this dude has an agenda. Oh no, he really doesn't. Like, he genuinely wants to buy my house. He genuinely lives 5 doors down.
I need money.
Yeah.
I need commission, but I want to like genuinely get to know you and add value and make money that way.
Like, I'm not
through
bullshit.
selling you.
I'm not bullshit. It's just the truth.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. This dude really did buy my house. It was 8 months. I called him. I made him an offer. I showed him the money, and we bought the house. Like.
And this client you're referencing, is that home in Howell?
That's the one in Howell, yeah.
Yeah. So again, young realtor or young business owner, I should say.
Yeah.
You have been doing this for a total of 2 years, full time, a year.
Yep.
And you're walking into an opportunity that's essentially a 7-figure home that you're going to list.
Yeah, it's like mid 900s.
And I'm sure that this person had other opportunities to list a home of that value. And because you stayed true to you, and this is something I struggle with, I'm honest, I struggled with it a lot young in finance. It was like, I buy this old man Lexus, which was inspired by Mike Abrams, which I'm going to have him on the show. He's a character. He told me he's going to smoke some weed on my show. I told him he's allowed to. We'll see what happens. But super wealthy guy in the Syrian community. His in-laws' family owned a large construction company, and he used to take me to lunch every day in his Lexus.
Yeah.
And we would go to his country club, and he would show me how I should get my shoes shined and all this stuff. And this was kind of like what I thought I needed to do to succeed. And I'm like, you know, all right, let's roll with this. So I ran with that for many years, and finally I was like, this is stupid. Like, this is not me. So to notice that, you know, I think I noticed that at probably 29, maybe 30 even.
Several years in the business.
Yeah, you were how old when I met you?
25.
25. You already kind of knew that. Like, Brian, you know, I don't really want to.
This is me, man.
Be fancy. I want to wear my Carhartt that are really long and.
I have friends, right? So you heard my whole story. You heard where I come from. You know, all my people are in that world. And when I'm in that world, I'm like, I don't want to
Like
deal.
your boy Ryan, we're going to get him.
I don't want to be the dude that, like, I don't want to walk up to the guy with the suit on. Like, I don't want to deal with that cheesy ass dude. I don't want to deal with him. So, like, I'm me, right? And I quit, right? I'm going full time. This is what I'm going to do. I want to better my family. You know, all my buddies, you'll be in a suit in no time. You know, and sure enough, here I am still in my flannels, you know, in my sneakers and my blue jeans.
I love this flannel. I think I'm somewhat successful. This thing's from Costco.
I was just gonna,
That's
a Riz shout out. I was thinking you got it from Costco.
Listen, Costco, Frankie Rizzo, how you doing? This thing's nice, $12. I like this thing. It's comfy, nice and light, spring weather. Dude, Guy Tirandola, I love him. He's an ex-business partner of mine. Great dude. And, you know, he used to roll around in his Yoda, which I think he still owns. I think there might be a shock through the bed. Guy, I hope you fixed it. You know, he used to say, Ryan, you know, you're going to talk to these business owners, man. They don't want you suited and booted. And at the time, I used to challenge him, like, Guy, like, you're just too cheap to buy a nice suit, or you're too cheap to buy a Breitling, or you're too cheap to do whatever. And Guy was right. These people just wanted to be on a relatable level. So shout out to Guy Tirandola, great dude. He's in the financial planning space as well.
Yeah.
Compliance, I didn't say that. People just want to be dealing with good people.
It sells instantly. And just call a spade, you know, like, if I kind of drop the ball, I'm going to let you know, like, hey, I think I'm dropping the ball here. And, like, my clients love it. They're like, no, dude, you're good. We're cool, you know. I'm low maintenance. Like, all right, cool. I'm just checking, you know, like.
Well, I gave you a recent, you know, test, you know, like a softball that I lobbed up there for you, and I was like, is he going to dribble this to first, or is he going to smack it out the park? And I gave you two clients that I love dearly. I came into their life, and the wife, Annie, if you watch, I love you, but Annie called me Bernie Sanders.
I think we're like her two sons she never wanted.
Yeah, she called me Bernie Sanders first time I met her. I was like, I don't know if I should tell this lady off. Should I leave?
Like Artie Madoff, right? Isn't it
Bernie Madoff? Bernie Madoff.
There you
Bernie
go.
Sanders.
I knew it was something
I'm calling
else.
Bernie Sanders. Bernie Madoff.
Get it right.
Like, Bernie Sanders, he's a crook. Bernie Madoff's not a crook. Who knows? So she called me Bernie Madoff, and I'm like, damn, this lady's tough. But those are the people I introduced you to, and I was really kind of nervous. I had full faith in you.
I'm pretty sure we fought like all week prepping for it because you wanted to make sure I didn't fuck it up.
Yeah. I definitely gave you a lot of, you know, information going into that.
Yeah.
For two reasons. Number one, I wanted my clients to succeed, and anytime that somebody is taking, you know, what I call a micromanager out of my world, and I'm sitting there head coaching the deal, I want to make sure that they have success in that area of their life. And I mean that. You know, it's my business. That's how I go to bed at night and go to sleep. And for the second reason is I wanted you to succeed.
I appreciate it.
I wanted you to succeed in the worst way, and that's a nice deal you're putting together. They sold their home for close to $800,000. You're buying another home with them for $600,000, and to help people like you win those people over who are amazing people, but they're from the old school. You know, her father was raised in Brooklyn. Yeah. You know,
they could have chose anybody. You know, that's the other thing. They know a ton of people. You know, so I'm the
and
young.
They're smart people.
They're smart. I'm the young gun. They're older. You know, all those limiting beliefs, which I've quieted. You know, I tuck them in a little chest. I don't really let them out. You've prepped me. You know, I'm prepared to walk in there. And I think when I left, she called you the next day and is like, he's our guy.
What do you think helped win that deal? Don't make it real estate. Make it the deal. Make it the negotiation.
I think
what
it's
won
me
you
being
that
me.
deal?
I really do. I believe, and I don't mean to like beat a dead horse, but it's. I think it was me.
I think it was you too.
Like, hey, I'm normal. Like, I might curse a little bit. I'm probably not going to wear a suit. Like, I'm normal just like you guys. You know, I think, you know, I sat there for 3 hours. I was late for like 2 other appointments. Dami never thought I was going to make it home.
You would look so sloppy in a suit like me.
It just doesn't work.
It's not you.
It's just not me. Like,
it's not you.
I'm a fraud. You tell me to leave as soon as I walked in. You know,
Yeah.
like, but I think it's being me, and I'll just, like I said, I'll call it out. Like, hey, Ryan made me sweat a little bit walking in here. Like, you guys are tough. Like, I'll just break the ice if I need to. And like I said, I'm not a salesman. Am I knowledgeable and can I do the job and am I relatable? Yes. And I will negotiate you through and I'll get you, I'll do you right, and I think that confidence, I can give off that confidence now.
I don't even think it's like confidence. I think it just goes back to, again, you being real. And when you're real as a person, especially as a business owner, like you see these girls that are doing, and I have a girl coming on that's, in the clothing world, and she was able to leave her job during COVID and surpass her husband's income, who kills it. Sharp guy, works hard for his family. And she's so proud of that. And it started with blogging and a little bit of journalism, and her story's coming on. I don't want to give her name away, but she's like a little rock star. And she's like, I'm just me. And like she came on, she was a little spitfire, and she was talking. I'm like, this girl's on the show. I love her. She's keeping it real.
Yeah.
And too many people out there think that, and social media is the most underrated fucking place that people don't spend their time. They don't spend their marketing.
Yeah.
Evan and I have
It's free.
spent, Evan has given me a heavy discount. And even with that discount, as well as some of the stuff we're building on the back end, it's cost us about 40 to 50 grand over the last 8 to 9 months. And plus time and energy that could be spent somewhere else, right, Evan?
No,
Evan has a lot of opportunities, and people who go and understand that they're going to invest in putting themselves out there. Because I'm reading this book, Naval, what's his name, Evan? What's his name? Ravikant. Naval Ravikant. Barely pronounced that, but AJ from Thrive said this is a great book you need to listen to. And Naval talks a lot about like putting yourself out there under your brand. So think about it. You could start, West Properties is your brand because it's your name, but you could start, LLC Real Estate or this BS name, and you can go into business and create any BS you want and sell anybody any BS you want. If it fails, there's no real accountability in you because you were some hidden shadow. Yeah. When you come out on social media and you wear your brand and you own your brand, there's real accountability. So you have big wins, you ride those highs. You have big losses, as long as you have good integrity and you were honest with people give you another shot. And and you did that right away.
So I think that's cool. Something you stood out, being able to invest and see the long play. Like I've spent time. I've had countless employers who I talk to this day. Like, who would want to deal with a 15-year-old idiot? Like that's who I think I am. In a sense, or
stop identifying.
Stop it. But I'm a nobody in a sense. Or there was 10 of us that showed up. You know what I mean? There was 20 employees. There was whatever it is, and I still talk to those employers today, and they say, oh, you're always a big thinker, so I can see it for the long haul, and I think that's big if you can invest and take, see it for what it could be, not what it necessarily is, and then
so what are you investing in now?
Myself and my brand, me as a person.
What is it?
It's real estate, as a realtor, but also it's real estate. I want to own real estate. I want to buy dirt. That's really, I knew I wanted to wear my name. I didn't know where I was going to see it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. Like for 10 years.
West sounds wealthy. West.
It's like Batman, Adam West.
I know Adam West. I went to school with me.
He's from Batman.
No, Adam West is not from Batman.
It's the original Batman.
Shout out to Adam West, dude.
We know a lot of Wests that I'm not related to. I've met a lot of Wests that I have no connection to. But seeing it for what it could be, and having that vision, there was a long-term vision for what I wanted it to be as a person. I wanted to be something, West. We could take this anywhere,
So talk about guys like your friend Brian. Not to put him on blast.
My buddy Brian Bray.
But talk about him. Talk to him. How does that guy, outside of real estate, how does he invest in him and take that leap of faith from stopping? Again, him trading his time for money.
You got to become like extremely uncomfortable and honest with yourself. So
what were you honest with yourself about?
I know what I want. And I've had conversations with him specifically. I think we've had those conversations. I have them with Dami. I'll have them with anybody. I know what I want. I want a Ford pickup truck. I really want a King Ranch. I settled for an
Did you
XLT.
see the new white on white King Ranch?
No, I want tan leather, dude. Bad.
No,
I
it's
want the
white
King
on
Ranch.
white, meaning the brand is not
Oh yeah.
in a different color. Like the platinum is
I don't
usually
care what it looks
chrome.
like. I'm worried about the inside. I want tan leather. But I know
you
what I
want a
want.
ranch?
So I think if you come,
Do you want a ranch?
I want a ranch. Yeah.
All right.
I want a small little something for myself, Christmas tree farm, something. But I know, become like uncomfortably honest with yourself. I think that's what someone like my buddy Brian, anybody, I think there's a lot of people in that space, a lot of friends I have that if they were uncomfortably honest, said this is what I want, and then pounded the pavement working for it every day, I think that's where I got here, where I'm sitting today.
I think they're soft.
I mean,
I think Brian's soft.
I think I could be soft at times too, but I think I also can take criticism. So
I think these guys are all soft. If you want it, you go after it. If you want it, you go after it. I had a conversation with a guy today, Mike McLean. Shout out to Mike McLean. He had some people that were like, "Oh, why are you watching Ryan Robbins' podcast?" He's like, "Because I remember when Ryan couldn't speak in a meeting."
it's pretty cool.
And I remember the things I said to Ryan and what I was able to do. And I told Mike McLean back then, and he knows it. He can get on LinkedIn and, validate this. I said, I'm going to make more money than all of you fucking people in this office. And I'll take you out if I have to, if you're a bad guy.
Did you know how then? You were on your warpath already? You knew how you were going to do it?
I was understanding of they were all doing it wrong. I just had to figure out how to do it right.
Yeah.
Being a good person.
Yeah.
Because you could step on people's heads and get to the top.
I just think that's the funny part, though, is like we live in a society.
This is how this all started, how you and I met.
Yeah.
It was to show people in my circle that were being greedy bastards that you could do something on social media and do it right and pass it forward.
Make something, help, someone make something of themselves. The world we live in today, I think social media is a crazy, a good platform that we can speak our truth. And I don't really want to appeal to the masses. I'd really like to appeal to people that want to work with me and people that I align with. I think the problem in today's world is people are, they don't want to pick a side. We got to stand in the middle.
They're fence riders.
Yeah, and why ride the fence? We want a business owner. Oh, I want everybody's business. I'm everybody's friend. The bottom line is we're not.
How many people are in the state of New Jersey? I think it's like 14 million, right?
I have no
Something like
idea.
that. Evan, can you give us a check on that? 14 million in the state of New Jersey? 13 million, right?
He's slacking.
So 6.5 million in my belief, because New Jersey is actually a pretty conservative state. We are small, and most of our delegates are in urban areas, so the vote doesn't swing that way. But especially Ocean County, it's very conservative. And, so if I have half of those people in the state, that's called 6.5 million people. Like, that's plenty of clients.
Plenty of business for us.
Yeah, and, look what Elon Musk just did. It's awesome.
I think it's cool. Pull the band, you know what I mean? Hey, it's kind of like a big FU to all of us, you know what I mean, to trying to shadow ban us or hold us back.
They can't hold me back. I'm never going to be able to hold me back.
The fence riders got to go, in my opinion. So I think we've learned that as I grow my social media, as I expand as a person, I'm not looking to appeal to the masses. I want to target real people. I'm not looking to...
You'll also take the other people who aren't really, on your same wavelength, but if they're good people, you're willing to help
Well,
them.
they're willing to come into
your space and be open-minded.
Or they're coming to my cause. They're willing to...
They're coming to your safe space.
Yes. They're willing to agree to, my systems or the way I think or what I'm doing. They believe in it. Maybe that's all it is they believe in what I'm doing. We don't have to have the same beliefs, so to say, but hey, I'm the expert here. This is what I'm doing. This is what I can help with.
Yeah.
Maybe I can help you. I think that's better than just, fence riding, in my opinion.
I agree.
I'm not that greedy to need everybody's business. I want people that want to work with me.
And nor do you have the time to, work with everybody.
No.
So one of the things I like to do is talk about, some actual real questions or actual takeaways that people can learn from the show. And when I think about someone like you, I don't want to go just real estate. I want to go a guy who's walking in your shoes. So what is the one thing that you think completely changed your life over the last 2 years?
Damn.
One thing.
Being able to play the long game. And
Explain that.
So, being consistent in a sense to, you know, my reality today may not be what I want, but I'm willing to suffer through this to get where I want to go. I've jumped through multiple hoops and done that with several different companies and business owners. And like I said, they're people that are close to me to this day still. And I was going on my path. And
I agree, but I truly think it's just mindset, like just bumping your thought process up in the sense of where you could take your income, where you could take your family, and where you can go. Like $200,000 to you probably 5 years ago sounded like a lot of money, and to a lot of people that is a lot of money, but it's really not. And that's the craziest thing. And I want people to know, like, I'm not that smart, and I make more than $200,000 a year, a lot more, and a lot of them can be, you know, so much further ahead of me.
I didn't think it was attainable a year ago, you know, and now I'm chasing it down.
Yeah, and I think you can go far beyond that. So another two things I like to do is talk about another local business owner. So somebody who is either impactful in your life, they're impactful in your community, and they're just good people that, you know, are passing it forward. Give us two names, two businesses.
There's two people I think that come to mind that have been very influential. The first one will be Carmen Reno with Reno Paving. He was a boss, a mentor, someone who I think saw that potential, and that I was a lot more fiery 5 years ago than I am today, and a little more, you know, misguided, so to say, if you want to call it that. And he reeled me in.
So Carmen had to deal with your stupid self?
I wouldn't even call it stupid, but
immature self?
I mean, listen, I was always pretty mature too. It was just.
So what were you doing wrong? Why were you misguided back then?
Just, I lived in chaos at the time. So like my home life, or, you know, the chaos in my life would come to work with me. Yeah. And he would kind of tolerate it and pull me in and say, listen, I don't put up with anybody else's bullshit, and I put up with yours because I could see it. And he coached me, he helped me.
He's a good guy.
He helped me a ton. He's a great dude.
And you told me a lot about him, and
I mean,
I said to you, I'm like, you need to reach out to this guy.
I talk about him all the time, you know, to this day. He comes up weekly.
That.
Yeah.
Think he knows that?
I think maybe I got to remind him.
I think he'll know now.
I think he'll know now.
Give me another business owner.
And then Greg Wareham, who's from North Point Bank. So he's based out of Bell Works up in Homedale. He's a mortgage guy, but helped me a ton. You know, he has like a killer system, and I'm new in the business. I don't know what I'm doing, and same thing, kind of tucked me under his wing and helped me, coached me, you know.
Why do you think he did?
I think the same thing. Like maybe I'm relentless. You know, like I didn't even see how good I could be or how good I was maybe at the time. And they're like, no problem. Hey, cool. Let's do this, you know. So he gave me confidence that I didn't have, you know, and that's, you know, invaluable. You know?
Listen, man, you're a sharp guy. I've said it a couple times. You're a likable guy. Yeah. You're a great dad. You're going to be an amazing husband. You know, sky's the limit for you. As far as you want to go, as hard as you want to work, you're going to obtain whatever that goal is. Just keep, you know, grabbing assets along the way and being smart, and you're going to kill it. And I'm so proud to be a part of it. You're going to maybe surpass me one day, and, you know, just don't forget about me.
I mean, if I'm chasing you, hopefully I never get there. We'll grow together.
Yeah, keep chasing me.
Cheers.
Cheers.